Two parts wasn't enough. We are back with part 3 of Outfielders featuring Dylan Cruz, O'Neal Cruz, Mike Trout, and much more on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source for fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Dominick Martino. You can find me on Twitter at DomMartinoFB. Here, as always, with my brother, my co-host, my partner in crime, Matthew Arne, and you can find him on Twitter at Matthew_Arne. And if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit that little bell below. It will subscribe you to the channel and give you a notification every time we drop a new episode. Or if you're listening on a platform like Apple or Spotify that allows 5-star ratings and reviews, we would truly appreciate it if you could do that for us as well. And lastly, but most importantly to Matt and I, give us a chance on the Subtext platform. Through Subtext, it's an in-depth personalized experience through text messaging alerts right to your phone, offering so much more than we can in these 30-minute episodes. And guys, this time of year, guess what? If you join us on Subtext, coming very, very soon are our 2025 rankings, sleepers, bust, breakouts, and so much more. So check us out on Subtext, link in bio wherever you're listening or watching, and available on any of our social media platforms. And you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started today. And all right, Matt, like I said, 2 parts was not enough. We're back for part 3, and just so many names at outfield. I think we're going to highlight some really, really fun names today, and I think this is a debate episode. I think we're going to go back and forth on a few different guys. So, Matt, once again, as always, brother, take your pick. Where are we going first?
All right, so I forgot to open up your rankings.
Okay, all right, guys. This is how you know. Matt's already gunning for me. I'm sure the Haterade's there somewhere.
I already chugged the first one.
Yeah, okay. So here we go, guys. I'm sure this is going to be very fun.
Where'd you put them? Oh, God. Yeah, here we go.
Buried?
Right. Oh, my God. What are you doing? All right. Mr. Dylan Cruz. What are you doing ranking him at number 38 overall?
I got him 33.
Last I've seen is 38, my friend.
I might have moved him up a little bit.
You shouldn't be hiding your rankings from me, for starters, okay? Sneaky. Look, Dylan Cruz, you know what? Better yet, I'll let you explain yourself, and then I will just tell you why you're absolutely wrong. Go for it.
Okay, so I have moved Dylan Cruz up to 33. I have him right behind somebody we're going to talk about later. I'm not going to mention the name. I will mention it, so you make sure you stick around. I have him right behind Jason Dominguez of the New York Yankees, who we're going to talk about later. I think outfield is a little bit deeper this year than it was last year. We struggled a little bit at outfield, last year, which it got better. So Dylan Cruz, major prospect, Washington Nationals, played 31 games last year, 119 at-bats, 12 runs. He had 5 doubles, a triple, 3 homers, 8 RBIs, 12 steals, and he hit 218 through his, first 31 games. I do like him. It's not really as much hate for Cruz as it is, I just like other guys more. I need to see him translate a little bit, and I know Matt's going to give me the Gunnar Henderson. I said that about him last year. But with Cruz, even in the minors in 2024, he was just solid. He wasn't like outstanding. 100 games across AA and AAA. He had 397 at-bats, 60 runs, 21 doubles, 6 triples, 13 homers, 25 steals, 68 RBIs, and he had 270. So there's a lot of upside here. When it comes to speed, he's very, very fast. The sprint speed's up there. So I think if I had to throw a projection out there for Dylan Cruz this year, maybe like 25 to 30 steals, 15 to 18 homers, 260, 270 batting average. And the runs and RBIs is going to depend where he hits in that Washington Nationals lineup. I honestly think the Nationals are going to be a lot better than they were last year. I think they're going to be super competitive. And if he hits near the top, the runs will be solid. I don't expect him to be a huge standout this year in his age 23 season. I think he's going to build up to it. And I think he's going to have a monster sophomore season. So I think I'm holding back a little bit on Cruz. That's where I'm standing on him at the moment.
Okay. I mean, your loss. Dylan Cruz, I was impressed. you look at the stat line and you say, why are you impressed, Matt? Like, what are you saying? He's smoking the good stuff. But there's some bright spots in there. Like he was he had 132 at bats. You can't really judge him
Yeah.
all based off that, but he was able to put in like 12 runs, 5 doubles, a triple, 3 bombs, 8 ribs, 12 stolen bases already, and batted 219. The profile itself, where he has the pace, has shown power, definitely can steal bases. We've seen that not only in the bigs, but also throughout his minor league career. Has hit 270, 265, 274, and 265 between 2 different levels of baseball. And he was a top prospect. This kid is no joke. Guys that come up and perform like this, that are able to show off their speed, able to show off the power just a hair, but struggle a little bit with the batting average, doesn't scare me away, especially with that small sample size. You look at like 11 walks to 26 strikeouts, actually is an atrocious differentiation. Not too far off from, two walks away from being 50%. And then you look at just like, just everything else that looks at it. You look at his underlying stats too, and you go, okay, cool. His X batting average is really more of like a 253. You ain't mad at it. His X slug is at 418. The average exit velocity is the equivalent to Luis Robert. He creates hard contact 44.7% of the time. And, didn't really chase, didn't really whiff, and didn't really strike out. And the walks are right under being red on it. And obviously, this is all in small sample size. So, this is just how can I pretty much assess this young player? Everything tells me that Dylan Cruz has kind of translated. It just, the stat line just doesn't look as impressive, quite honestly. So Dylan Cruz, I think, where I have him ranked, I think is the right spot.
Matt, did you say where you have him ranked?
I'm going to pull it up now.
Okay.
I have Dylan Cruz at 20 on the dime, and I think it's a great spot. I think it's a fair price. He's your late OF2, and minimum guarantee is he's going to have a boatload of stolen bases and going to have runs and rips. If the power only hits 21 to 22 home runs, you're not mad at that draft price, because he's also going to be lower towards pick 100 than he is going to be, in the mid 50s. So Dylan Cruz, definitely draft at around your 20th outfielder.
Yeah, see that I mean, I don't want to spend a crazy amount of time on Cruz. I don't feel comfortable with him at a 2, just because if he does, even if you look at the underlying stats, right, and you say if he hits 250, if he has a little bit of pop and steals 30 bases, I think it's just a little bit of a risky profile, and a guy that's coming into year 2. And you know what? If he's going out there in spring training and he starts raking, I could see him moving up my rankings a little bit. But right now, I'm probably aiming a little bit closer to an outfielder 3. But Matt, let's keep things pushing here. Let's find another interesting name on this list of outfielders here. Matt, do you want to throw the haterade, or are you in a hater? Wait, we have. Well, let's do somebody a little bit later. We'll save him for later. Let's do somebody a little bit more interesting. Let's do Teoscar Hernandez first.
Mm-hmm.
Teoscar Hernandez is interesting. He's a free agent. We don't know if he's going back to the Dodgers. He's getting interest from teams like the Yankees. I think Boston's in on everybody, I heard. So I don't know. Boston's in on everyone. But if he goes to another good team, I see him having a very similar type of season that he did this year. Bounced back from a tough 2023. He's just a solid player. We know who he is. He's going to be 32, still in that little sweet spot in his career, not too old, not very young. Last year with the Dodgers, Teoscar hit 272 over 154 games, 589 at bats, 84 runs, 32 doubles, 2 triples, 33 homers, 99 RBIs, 12 steals. And I think, like I said, if he goes to a good team, you'll see a very similar stat line, close to 30 homers, runs and RBI should be solid. He could steal you close to 10 bags, and he's a career 263 hitter. So I would expect him to hit somewhere between 260 and 270. And, that's pretty much that. I think he's just a solid outfielder number 2. Let me pull up where I have him ranked. Actually, I have him ranked at 12. I'm going to move that down, though. I think I'm going to shuffle things around in that spot. I want Teoscar a little bit more as a high-end outfielder number 2 than a low-end outfielder number 1.
Yeah, that sounds better to me, because I was about to say, you have him pretty much ranked as if he was going back to the Dodgers, and I don't think he's going back to the Dodgers. It was a 1-year stint to say, hey, look, everybody needs to pay me. Let me show you why. And that's exactly what he did. So this year he's going to go out and he's going to go to the team that's going to pay him the most. But as long as it's a contender, we're going to be okay with it, but still not going to, grant him, 12 overall. I have him ranked at 20, 21, I believe. Yeah, 21. And I think that's a fair, a fair spot for him.
Yeah, so you have him right behind Dylan Cruz?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But
That's
Teoscar Hernandez, depending on the landing spot, also will get moved up or down. So, like, that's the thing, right?
True.
So, like, this is tentative. So, like, this is, hey, I want to draft him, but I don't want to pay too much right now because we don't have an idea of where he's going to land. So, like, this is a good spot. And then as we get closer to spring training, if he's not signed, he's going to go down. And if he does sign, he's going to go up. You know, it's just right now you asked me to do a draft. That's where I'm taking him. But I think Teoscar Hernandez is going to be just fine. But coming up next, we have, I think the haterade coming up right after the break because Dom and I always disagree on this player. He plays for the Atlanta Braves. And then so much more of this. So stay tuned. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on NFL all in one place. So when you have a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place all your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And guys, make that $5 bet count. Okay? He's already laughing because he knows where I'm going with this.
Yeah, we've been just doing this and it's been great.
Yep. And instead of it just being New York Giants against the New York Jets as well. So all of New York just go against, except maybe, week 15, 16, and 17. Those are great weeks to play for. Those are the best matchups you're humanly going to get. So I will give you that 100%. Then we can start betting overs. We'll get closer. Hello. I'll answer the door. But FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And all right, since Dom has had to go and, answer the door to whoever that is, I am going to continue. And I'm going to start off with introducing the Locked On Fantasy Baseball Podcast Diamond Club on Subtext, your ultimate fantasy baseball companion. Rely on our dynamic content this offseason, and get our redraft rankings, our dynasty rankings, our sleepers, breakouts, busts, prospect rankings, everything under the sun that we have for you. And, you're not going to want to miss it. This is the difference between, going out and having the same rankings as everybody else at, a pretty much watered down ranking of just a collective couple of experts, or just having guys that exclusive content that does this all day, every day, and helps you get in those leagues. You're going to want to win with us. Links in the description below. But Dom, kick us off, man. Let's let me get ready. Go ahead, start it off.
All right. So if you're an avid listener, you guys already know where we're going with this. If you're not, and if you're watching on YouTube, you see Matt's already drinking the haterade heavy. Talking about Michael Harris of the Atlanta Braves, and it's just a guy that I don't know why we always seem to disagree on him. I have him ranked as my outfielder number 16. I think there's a lot of upside here, and especially if we're taking him as our outfielder number 2, the price isn't that heavy. I think he's coming off a little bit of a down year. He played 110 games last year. He dealt with a lot of injury, had 440 at bats, 58 runs. He had 14 doubles, 3 triples, 16 homers, 48 RBIs. He sold 10 bags, and he had 264. But we've seen Michael Harris for 2 years in the bigs as a 21 and 22-year-old. He hit over 290 both of those seasons, had 19 and 18 home runs in those seasons. He played 114 games in 2022, 138 games in 2023. So we still haven't really seen like a full 155 games, 150 game season from Harris. And I think if Acuna's out, like the Braves are saying he's going to be for the beginning of the season, I think Harris will hit atop the lineup like he did, while Acuna was out, at times last year. So the runs are going to be good. The power, he does have power in that bat. He hits the ball pretty hard. The exit velocity is good. He swings that bat pretty fast. I honestly think there's upside in the home run category. I think he can get up to 25. He's very fast too. Not very fast, but 75%. 75th percentile sprint speed, so he's pretty fast. He could steal over 20 bags, and the batting average is a career 285 guy with a down year last year. Even the expecting batting average was at 284. So there's room for growth, and that's what I see when I look at Michael Harris. And he's only going to be 24 this upcoming year, so I just truly think there's upside in the spat. Matt, I know you disagree.
I do. It's not like an indictment on the talent. I will never say he's a bad player. All the underlying stats support your argument. But here's the thing, right? He only is going to hit at the top of the lineup right now, and that's where they're projecting him to be at, hitting 1 until Ronald Acuna is back. And then he's going to fall way back down in the, 5, 6, 7, 8 hole, and then go back into fantasy irrelevant status. So what does that do for you, right? Does absolutely nothing. You've seen it. 2 seasons where he's done nothing in that spot, not having the opportunity to get runs or ribs, not really showing off the power that we're all expecting and seeing the underlying stats. Like, he played 440 at bats and he only managed to get 16 home runs, but he has an average exit velocity of 90.5 miles an hour with a slug of 461. What does that tell you? That his launch angle sucks. Oh, wait, his launch angle does suck. It's showing it on Baseball Savant. So there is something not right with his bat. Now, if we turn it around and we start seeing the launch angle do better, I could change my opinion. But there's too many things that have shown me, even though we've seen the underlying stats act like this for 2 years, he isn't able to bring it all together. And for me to draft him at 16, outfielder 16, to only get like a 1 month rental, even if that does nothing for me. Because even if he's playing well at 1, they're not going to not put Acuna at 1. They're not going to go and put, Ozzy Albies down in the lineup. They're not going to move down Austin Riley or Matt Olson or Marcell Ozuna. He'll go and hit 6. And what does that do for you at 6? Absolutely nothing. So the fantasy value at most is he's going to have a really good April, and then he's going to fall off a cliff until there's an injury.
I hear you, brother. I don't know. Like I said, I just think
if he performs.
Yeah, I mean, I still think even if he's hitting low in that lineup, especially if he hits 9th, there's a lot of room, for the runs. He's sitting behind Acuna or right ahead of Acuna and Riley, Albies, all the guys you just named. So I think the runs are still going to be good. He's still, the underlying stuff for power is still there. So I think even at worst case scenario, you see like 20 homers, 20 steals, 290 batting average, and close to 90 runs if he gets 150 games. I just do like me some Michael Harris. I hear that's. Did you say we have him ranked?
I did not actually. Let's see. It's probably pretty low. Harris.
But and then like I said, just
36.
Ooh, Jesus, man, damn! I think we could find some common ground and split the difference somewhere in the middle on Harris.
Nah, but I think it's gonna fall.
Oh, geez, all right. I think we'll have another discussion on Harris at some point. We'll have a special episode, maybe a debate kind of episode with guys we disagree on, because it's always so fun to go back and forth. But let's keep things moving here, Matt. Let's bring the love. I think we could find some common ground on this next guy here. Let's do Jason Dominguez of the New York Yankees, right? I do think you have him a little bit lower than me, but I know you like him a lot too. So let's just kind of talk about what he could potentially bring to the table for the Yankees, coming in 2025. So first of all, I think the writing's kind of almost on the wall that Soto's probably not coming back. So somebody's going to have to step up. And you know what? I don't know where the Yankees are going to go with the money this offseason. I don't know if they're going to want to spend big. I know they're talking about bringing another bat as well, because you kind of have to, replace Soto. But let's see where things go. I know Jason Dominguez didn't play great in his 18 games, this past season. But I'm not going to get into that too much, because let's talk about what he's done in the minors, right? That's really where he's been, impressing, since a young age. He's been very, very solid. So last year, specifically in 2024, he played across 3 different levels. He had 58 games, 226 at-bats, 43 runs, 8 doubles, a triple, 11 homers, 35 RBIs, 16 steals, and he hit .314. So, at 21 years old, was dominating across 3 different levels in the minors. I really think this kid is going to take off. There's a reason that they call him the Martian. And, if he gets a good spot in that Yankees lineup, if he's hitting like 5th, which I think there's a chance he could do, especially if Soto doesn't come back. He's going to drive in a lot of RBIs. Look at all the runs that, Judge and Soto drove in last year. There's going to be room for it. A lot of power, 30-plus home run power. He could steal some bags too. I really, really love me some Jason Dominguez, and I have him ranked as my 32nd outfielder, actually right ahead of Dylan Cruz.
You're correct. Anyway, I'm going to say this. You're going to have to find out what I have to say about Mr. Jason Dominguez and his 2025 value coming up next. All right. And now, what I will have to say is this with Mr. Jason Dominguez. So there's a lot of question marks. Will he play? When he'll play? And etc. I could totally see them moving Aaron Judge all the way, in the infield to protect him. And, I like that. I ultimately would rather see Stanton play first, but that's just me. But I also see them also calling up Spencer Jones, I think, to play the other outfield spot if we don't get back Soto. But Dominguez, if he plays, he's going to be incredible. I just want to see the commitment. That's the thing. He really didn't get utilized in the playoffs at all. It kind of really frustrated me. I mean, between the Verdugo play and other people's play, I feel like Jason Dominguez should have got the nod because they would have done exactly what you would have expected a rookie to do, and we pretty much just couldn't really put it together. Why not give the kid a shot? So him not getting play at all kind of shows maybe the confidence that they might not have in him, and where he might not even start on the roster this season. It may take a month again for him to even be back. So that's why I want to see the commitment before I truly, give him that anointment. Right now I have Dominguez at. Let me see. I have to actually find him.
Damn, man, you buried him?
No, I wouldn't say that.
I
have him at 40. So I mean,
yeah, so we're not far off. We're not far off.
Yeah, and to be honest though, he still could fall down even lower because you look at it and guys I have right behind him are like Josh Lowe, Adolis Garcia, Lane Thomas, and Yoshida, and I'm just like, yeah, like if I don't have too many question marks about their playing time, I could totally see him now falling into the mid 40s versus where I have him at 40.
Yeah, I don't see a world where at this point in time where you don't I don't think they need to send him back down to the minors. He's proved it down there. Like I said, dominated 3 different levels, and there's room for him. There's room for him on the roster, especially if they decide to move Judge to first, which, there's a lot of rumors about. They want to keep him healthy. They paid him all that money. They definitely need to protect him. So, like I said, that even if, there's a couple outfielder spots open and they don't sign anybody, they bring Spencer Jones in there too. He's been pretty good in the minors as well. And I think it's just time to let Dominguez shine because, if you saw in that those small sample sizes, in 2023 where he hit 4 home runs in 8 games, was dominating, even in the minors, just smashing the ball, exit velocities out of control. And he's not a huge guy either. He just knows how to swing the bat. That's where it's like real talent. It's not like an Adam Dunn, where he's just smashing the ball. He's 5'9", 190, but he still has monstrous power. So I do love me some Dominguez. Man, I did pick Dominguez though. Where do you want to go next?
All right, let's go with this. I know we both can agree on we actually have him in the same spot, within like 2 spots, and that's Mike Trout. I don't want to be too negative on this, right? Like Mike Trout, honestly, I feel like is somebody that everybody needs to like kind of get over the fact that maybe he's not the best player in baseball, but he is definitely one of the better bats to draft in baseball. Okay. Mike Trout hasn't lost it whatsoever. When he's healthy and he's out on that field, he's one of the best players in baseball. 109 at bats last year, still had 17 runs. A double, 2 triples, 10 bombs, 14 ribs. Yeah, the batting average was ugly, but again, small sample size. Can you imagine if I were to tell you can draft a player that you were going to get in probably the 5th or 6th round and they play 400 at bats and get 27 home runs? Would you draft that player? You just pray it's at the end of the season is where they're healthy? I think you'd probably draft that player. Oh, wait, that's Mike Trout because in 2022, he played 400. He had 438 at bats, 85 runs, 28 doubles, 2 triples, 40 bombs, 80 ribs, and batted 283. So the thing is, I'm willing to take the shot on Mike Trout. The draft price is going to be absolutely right after dealing with multiple injury seasons where we just have to deal with him not being out there. You just pray that he is, out there at some point. There's not even enough advanced stats behind it to say, hey, he's lost a step either, because even though it's a small sample size, his xWOB was 405, his x batting average was 271, x slug was 591, barreled 17% of the time, created hard contact 41% of the time. Launch angle was beautiful. Bat speed definitely didn't sink. So, going into age 34, if his bat speed hasn't dipped like, the Goldschmidts and the Arenados, What is going to tell you that he's going to lose anything? That's why I have confidence in drafting Mike Trout. It does come at risk, but we're not paying a third, fourth round. We're probably paying a fifth, sixth round pick, and that is going to be your nugget to having the advantage on your competition this season. If he plays a full season, forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, I love Mike Trout. Matt, did you say we have him ranked?
18th.
Yeah, I have him at 20, so we're right in the same range with him. And you really played it out really well with him, Matt. I want to see how he looks coming into spring training. If he looks healthy, and we take him as our outfielder number 2, there's upside of of an outfielder number 1 easily, of like a top 10ish outfielder, and we're not going to have to take him there at all. Don't really think he's going to steal too much anymore. He did steal 6 bags in 29 games last year, which is a little odd because he hadn't stolen more than 2 since 2019. And it's just tough because when he's healthy, one of the best players in the game, but he hasn't been on the field a lot. Like I said, 29 games in 2024, 82 in 23, 119 in 22, 36 in 2021, and then 53 in 2020. Before that, Trout was fairly healthy. It's really like a gamble. It's really a scratch off. It's a lottery scratcher at this point for Mike Trout in his career. But if we take him as our outfielder number 2, I think that's a fair price for the upside. But let's keep things pushing here, Matt. Let's do a fun name. Let's do another guy that we like. Let's do Oneil Cruz. Let's do a fun name here. I think this is going to be like the post-hype breakout. Because we were all over him last year. Everyone was all over him. He had a monster spring training, and he kind of was just meh. Like he didn't kill you, but he wasn't fantastic either. He played 146 games, 541 at bats, 72 runs, 34 doubles, 3 triples, 21 homers, 76 RBIs, 22 steals, 259 batting average. It just, like I said, it wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. Just really would have loved to see the breakout at age 25 for Oneil Cruz. But you know what? That's his first full healthy year of his career. He's been injured a lot. I think if he can put together another 146 game season, I think the power is going to be right. I think he can get close to a 30-30 season because he is fast. He's got a lot of power in that bat. The Pirates, though, on the other hand, don't know how good they're actually going to be as far as, the bats go. So the runs and the RBIs might be a little bit suspect. But you know what? For a guy who's in the 99th percentile of exit velocity, 97th percentile in barreling, his bat speed is literally, he swings one of the fastest bats in the game. His sprint speed is 88th percentile. And this is for a guy that's 6'7", 215. I think if he was on almost any other team, the hype would be even higher than it was last year. But I love me some Oneil Cruz. I actually have him as my 19th outfielder ahead of Trout. And I think there's upside too. Another guy you're taking as your outfielder number 2, but this one's a high upside play.
Yeah. No, I mean, like my biggest gripe with this whole team is there's not enough around him. But, if Henry Davis returns to the lineup and if Tamar Johnson gets the call up, like, we could see some increase in the runs and ribbies aspect of it too. The power is there. I would like to see his launch angle actually just do a lot better because that thing is God in the toilet and a half. But everything else screams, hey, like I'm about to have a breakout. I just, I can't pay the price I was paying last year. Like a third, that's hard for me. I haven't ranked 19 this year. I think that, if he comes with a discount, it's going to be great. The outfield and shortstop eligibility is also pretty sexy and alluding to me. So, I kind of want to get a piece of that at the end of the day. But with Mike Trout, you just got to kind of, not Mike Trout, I'm reading the wrong name. Oneil Cruz, him and the Pittsburgh Pirates, you just got to essentially just say, hey, look, Ryan Reynolds is able to be successful there. Oneil Cruz should be successful there. Why not? And, five category contributor. It's all about it. Let's sneak one more in here. Okay, I got it. Wyatt Langford. Probably the biggest disappointment, I think, last year. Let's just put it out there. Langford had literally set records for spring training. Hit the most home runs for somebody under 21, I believe it was, which was like 7 in spring training. And we were all super hype. Kid looked phenomenal. We thought, okay, this is a generational talent, doing that, Chris Bryant-esque kind of look. And then he comes in the season and does 499 at bats, 74 runs, 25 doubles, 4 triples, 16 bombs, 74 ribs, 19 stolen bases, batted, a measly 253. Yeah, that doesn't get you done when people were drafting you as a top 60 pick. It's what we call a flat out bust. But do I think he's probably done? No. Kid has electric upside. Power's there. Definitely could steal some bags. Maybe not like a 30-30 guy, but he could probably steal you about 15 to 20. Can hit for average. If he hits, let's say 270, 280, which I think is definitely in the realm of possibility, Wyatt Langford is going to return on draft price. I don't think we're going to be paying too high either because people are going to be scared off by him. I have him ranked as OF 25, which the ability to be lowered, obviously. I want to see what spring training holds. But Dom, I don't want to keep talking. What's your opinion on Langford? You're kind of muted there, my friend.
Oh, I'm a bit higher. I got Langford up at 18. I really he's still young. He's 23. His first taste of the bigs, right? Had a lot of ups and downs, but just look at the September, October, 26 games. He had 25 runs, 7 doubles, 8 homers, 20 RBIs. He stole 7 bases and hit 300. I think the breakout was right on the precipice. If the season would have went a little bit longer.
And we lost Dom. So if the season went a little bit longer, I guess you would have liked him. We all would have been liking him more. But guys, please like, subscribe, comment, rate, review. Please tell your friends, your mother, everybody. Hey, check us out, Locked On Fantasy Baseball. And when you're done with that, check out our boy Sully over at Locked On Fantasy Baseball. With that being said, guys, have a great rest of your day. Peace.